Hey guys, we are just about to begin. Okay, Battle of the Routers. Hi everyone. I hope you guys can see me. I hope you guys can hear me properly. And today's agenda is pretty simple. We are going to create two routing projects, one using React Router, the other using the recently released TanStack Router. TanStack Router, as most of you would know, comes from Tanner Lindsay. He's the author of the very popular React query library, one of my personal favorites. I'm sure it finds a place in top 3 in many of yours too. Okay. Oh, I have to remember the camera is this way, not this way. Okay, that being said, so this is how it's going to play out, right? I'm going to make a project using React Router. And once that's done, I'm going to not go into a very detailed explainer of React Router because I assume most of you know the basics of it, if not it in complete detail. Also, since this is supposed to be a small and quick project, I have to code both of them out. I'm going to keep it short. Okay. And yeah, I'll take you guys to my screen. Let me know if you can see it. It's visible, right? Everything is like legible. Y'all can read it, whatever's on the screen.
Yes, it is visible.
Great. There's only one last thing that's left to do. I'm gonna quickly reset my camera, and yeah, and we are good to go. We are ready to begin. So I've made up this directory called prox demo. Okay, let's get inside prox demo, and what I'm going to do is this is more of a demonstration of the DX that TanStack Router provides us, right? So in that vein, I'm going to scaffold my project using Vite or Vite, whichever way you guys want to call it, right? I'm going to call the first one React Router, make it with React with TypeScript, and yeah, let's just get inside React Router. Okay, let me install the dependencies. While that happens, it should just be a very small time that it does. It usually doesn't take this long. Great. Done. We are in business. Okay. I'm going to open this up in my editor of choice. For me, that's VS Code. For you, it can be anything that you guys want. And I'm just going to clean the project out before I run it. As a matter of fact, let me just run it before I even clean it. Let me just see that if this is running, right? Let's just run it on a dev server and it's here. Let me open it here. Let me know if you guys can see it. Right, that's just a very basic server running. Okay, now let's add React Router to this. I'm going to React Router DOM. Only I can type properly. It's React Router DOM. That's the library that I need to add. And we have React Router DOM. I'm also going to just make sure that it's the correct library because hi, do we have questions?
So
Font
font seems
seems to be
blurry for Rahul and me. So I guess it is due to internet connection. Your connection is
I'll just
showing like,
share my screen. Is this better?
yeah, this is much better.
This is great.
Yeah,
Okay. And once again, I'll just make a few quick changes. In that, I will make it like this. Great. Since I'm not sharing it, I can have the entire space for my camera. Okay. I hope everyone's able to see now.
yeah, this is very clear. It is like I'm checking my own terminal. So Rahul,
Great.
I hope it is better now. for you too.
Everything's better now, Rahul. Is it?
Yes, yes,
Is
yes.
it? Great. Great. Where was I? I had just installed React Router. I need to restart the VTA server. Before I even restart it, let's get rid of a few things. Let's go to app.tsx. Let's go here. Let's take everything from here till here and let's get rid of it. You too, buddy. We are going to. Okay. I don't need this either. Neither do I need these things, these guys. Great. I've gotten rid of the styles as well. That is deliberate. I'd like to put my own styles here. Let's get rid of this here. Okay. And from React Router, this, I hope you all know already. I'm going to import a few things from React Router. From React Router DOM. Great. The things that I'm going to import are these. Browser router. I'm going to alias this out. I'm going to call this router. Besides this, I'm going to also get the routes component and route. I'm going to give you a quick explanation, assuming that you guys know the details already. So browser router here defines the domain of wherever this React router will be active. So whatever component, these are all essentially high level, higher order components. So browser router wraps around wherever you want the router to be active. So let's say if I put the router here, this is the domain of the browser router now. It will only be active inside this. Okay. And I'm gonna give myself a task for later, which is make the nav bar. I'll make this later. Let's first talk about just simply this. 1 second. Right. Let's just simply talk about making this first, which is that I'll get the other component, which is routes. And this is where I define the, the route that should be active at whatever path that I define. So for that to happen, I need to call the route component and I need to pass it some attributes as following. First of all, I got to pass it path, takes a string, just defines wherever in the project this element should be active, right? And predictably it takes the second element that it takes is element. Okay. And it essentially takes a JSX. It takes JSX that it shows back. So I'm going to do something which, since it's demo, I'm going to do it. And I would, like, I'm sure you guys know already, you should not do this in production. But since it's just a demo, I'm going to do this here right now, which is I'm going to make an empty fragment and just return some JSX here. So hello from the home page. Make one more, call this the about page. And it should route at about. Great. Let's just run this again, see if this much is working. I really hope it does. Hello from the home page. There is still some stylings I see. It's coming from main.tsx. I need to get and not get rid of it. For now, I'm only going to comment this out. They should get rid of whatever remaining stylings that I had. Okay, hello from the home page. And to go to the about page is simply this. I need to route to the about page and it takes me to the about page. But this is obviously not the desired DX. So like I gave myself a task earlier, let's make that task happen now, which is let's make a nav bar here. I'm gonna, go from the ground up, build from zero. So and I'm going to take some liberties in this, which is I'm not going to split the code out. Again, this is a demonstration, more of, to show how it does. So instead of making another component, routing, mapping it over there, I'm just going to write this here right now. And for that to happen, I need to I actually can write an anchor tag and then give it an href attribute. And for now, it won't really make a difference, simply because the app does not hold any data. So even if I give it an anchor tag and give it an href attribute, it will take us to a different page. We will not see any difference because the app is really very simple now. But of course, you all know that's not what we want. So for that to happen, React Router provides us this component called link that maintains the state between changes between routing. That is what we are going to use here. Okay. And let's call this home. Let's call this about. It's giving me an error. I know it's giving me an error because it's expecting a to attribute, as in where do you want to link it to? Text string, I want to link it to slash, which is my home page. Same here. Let's call this the about page. And yeah, just templating it out with string literals. Hopefully this works. Let me put this inside a div. Great. And let me put a horizontal rule here. Great. Let's see how this looks. And should essentially work as expected. I'm on the about page. Let's go back to the home page. And that's that. That's a very, very simple and very quick demonstration of how React Router works. There are more elements to it. There is search params, query params, and deliberately not going to cover them today. And when I go to TanStack Router, you'll find out the reason why. Right. So without further ado, let me go into the React. Let me make another project and call this the TanStack Router. Let me scaffold it out with Vite. So yarn create Vite. It's going to be as we made it before. It's going to be a React project with TypeScript. Great. Let's get into it and install the dependencies. And while we do that, this is where I like, since it's a demonstration, more of DX, more of how we set things together. I'm also going to, show it how ideally I would like to put this together. And I'm deliberately doing this in the TanStack project simply because, I've been using React Query for so long. It's more of it's a very biased thing right now, wherein I am biased towards whatever Tanner Lindsay puts out. His libraries are usually very fine-tuned to work very good with your projects in production grade projects, right? So TanStack Router, let's open this in a code editor. Again, VS Code for me. You can have whatever you want to. And before I even run the project, I want to incorporate Tailwind into this. So to make that happen, I'm going to do yarn add as a dev dependency. I'm going to add Tailwind CSS. I'm also going to add auto prefixer and post CSS. Ooh. Okay. It should be quick. It is, yeah. And now let me generate the Tailwind and post CSS config files. So I'm going to do that simply by doing Tailwind CSS, passing it the exact package name, and let me call in it. That will generate the files that I need here. Great. Let me quickly make sure that it is working as expected. I am on index.html. I need to go to not CSS, app.tsx. Here we are. And let's run this project too. So let's call yarn dev and run this on a parallel server. It works as expected. You clearly don't see Tailwind right now because I've not incorporated it. Let me do that right now. Okay. So I'll go inside the Tailwind config files. I'll tell it which all files that it needs to effect. So it needs to go inside the src and any file and folder in any of the inside folders with these following extensions, which are tsx, ps, jsx, and js. That is where I want Tailwind to take effect. This is going to spit out the final compiled CSS for me, compiled styles for me when I generate the project. Right, with that out of the way, let me also import it into the index CSS so that I can finally use it. So here we are. Let's get Tailwind. Let's get the base. I need the utilities and components. Great. Let's see how our project is looking right now. And you'll see the styles are out of place. That's because it's still trying to, it is still trying to, give it some styles with this, but it's clearly not going to work out. I've just gotten rid of all styles here. Okay, great. So Tailwind is in effect now. I'm going to get rid of everything from here all the way to here again. I'm going to give me the same tasks as I did before. Now, here's the fun part. Okay. So in the interest of time, I am going to, because it's already, okay. So in the interest of time, I'm going to write down a list of things that I need to do here, as I did before. Navbar. Then I need to, did I install the TanStack library? I don't think I did. Let me install that too. So yarn add TanStack React router. And while that happens, I'm pretty sure that is the library, but let me just be confident about this. So npmjs.org, not naps. It's great. The library that I installed was TanStack Router. And for everyone's consideration, that's an exact match. I got the correct library. For everyone's consideration, I'm also going to open the TanStack Router documentation. I'm going to make this bigger. Great. I hope everyone can see it. Got the correct library. Let's put things in place. So for now, it's going to be a one-to-one demonstration of what I made with React Router. I'm going to recreate that with TanStack Router. And I'm going to do this like so. Okay. So again, getting rid of a few things. I don't need this. Don't need you, not you either. And let's just be sure that CSS is in effect. Great. So what I'll do is I'll create a div. This is going to be the parent div, give it a class name. And template this out with Tailwind, if only I can speak. Let's give it flex. Let's give it flex. Let's give it flex row reverse. And let's make a very basic placeholder nav bar for it right now. Okay. Let's call this home. Let's call this about, and this one, let's call this contact. Okay. Now, if everything is set up properly, which I hope it is, it will appear on the right side of the screen, starting with contact. Okay, this is where I need to go. Looks like it's not. Why is it not? One second. Just give me a second, guys. I get the index of
So I think list was not inside that div tag. Was the
Sorry?
list was out of.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So I'll get this here. So as you can see, I make silly mistakes when I'm coding. I make typos. I don't, uh, I hope that everyone understands that. I'm going to, you know, do this the hard way, which is just to be, make it look a little better. I'm going to give it some padding on the x-axis, padding of 5. Now, there's of course a better way of doing this, which is mapping over it, making a component mapping over it. I'm going to leave that to you
can
guys
just
as an
provide
exercise.
a gap property in the
Sorry.
parent. You can just give gap of something in the parent, so you will not have to have paddings 3 times.
Great. Yes, I can. Like I said, this is like this, since this is a demonstration, I'm gonna leave the templating out part to you guys. Please feel free in whichever way you want to do this. I am just gonna make it look like this, and again, give it a horizontal rule. Now herein comes the fun part, right? Wherein now I have to make the router, and this is what TanStack allows it, which is one of the core tenets of TanStack is that it is type safe to begin, built with type safety in mind. It is built with code splitting in mind. It is built with modern React and modern JavaScript in mind. So inside the SRC folder, let me make another folder. Let's call this router. I'm going to put all my router config inside this. Okay. So let's make a file called config. Dot tsx. Not x, just yes. Since I'll not be returning any JSX from this. Or you know what? Let me do this in one file. I'll leave the code splitting for later. Let this just be a demonstration of the router. Okay. So let me import the required libraries, the required things up here. I'm going to import something from TanStack. I did install this, right? Did I? Package.json. Pretty sure I installed this. Okay, it wasn't installed. Let me do this right now. Let me quickly install the library, the TanStack router, and go back here. Great, it's an alpha. I want the beta 11. Now, there's the reason I'm calling for this specific library, this specific version, which is this was the last version which was working as of last evening. In fact, the day before. Tana has been, as we speak, he's been updating this library with more features. This is still a work in progress. The entire library is a work in progress. There are so many things which are still yet to do, even on his website that you go to. So this is the last working version. I've just deleted that, and I'm going to install everything again so that I have the correct version. Great. I hope I have everything that I need now, which is, let's get TanStack now. Okay. So I'm gonna, just like React Router, like I said, for now, it's going to be a one-to-one demonstration. To make this happen, I need to create a route config. This is the code splitting that I was talking about. I'll put it in a different file, but I'll leave that exercise for you guys for now. So I need to create the routing config. I need to define the routing config, for which TanStack allows us this this function called create route config. So if I can only type properly and write create route config, it will import it from TanStack Router up above, and I can be on my merry way to create the route config. Now it's a function which I need to execute, and I can chain the create children function from it, which takes a callback. The callback function has a param called, it's called create route, if I'm not wrong. Create route. Yep. So everything's going to import on its own. Create route is provided by TanStack, and it expects an array in return. So we're going to do that. Now, create route is a function which can be executed. It takes an object, and that object is the definition of the component that you want to show. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean by that. So create route, and it's a function, takes an object, takes path. I want this to be slash, and that's it, takes a string. Yeah, it takes a string. Route options is a string. Takes a string, and it takes a component property. Now, this is where you write down the component that you want. Currently, we don't have the home component. What I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly define it, the home component. And so about home is equal to, great, let me just write the component here. Let this be an h3. And welcome to the TanStack Router home. Great. Let's define two more quickly. Come on, I can not just not type properly. Page. Contact me and call them as such. So this is going to be called about, and this is going to be called contact. So now as you guys can see, it's not causing a problem. Let me just create two copies of it so that I can quickly define them. Let's call this about, takes us to about, and let's call this contact, that takes us to contact. Now the route config is created, but as you'll quickly see, they'll just not do anything to the project simply because we have not told the router where to apply this route config. And just like React router, it also needs to know the domain of where it will be active. So to define that domain first, we need to create a router. The router takes the route config. Okay, so this route config returns the route, the configuration that I want. Let me very inventively call it route config. Okay, let's capture it in a variable called route config, and let's create our one second. Let's create, let me first of all take this outside this function. Let's not put this inside. Great. Let's create the router. Create React router. Once again. Create React router. Execute it with an object that is the route config. It takes route config and capture the router in a variable very imaginatively called router. Well, I hope I can see that my jokes are bombing. Everyone's just so great. Let me define the domain of where this is going to be active. So let's just call this here. There's another component called router provider. I need to import it explicitly. I'll do that. I don't think I need this explicitly imported, so I'll get rid of it. And I'll get router provider here. This is a wrapper function that goes around our app and defines the domain of where everything is going to be active. So let me wrap everything around this. Router provider. Great. I hope this is yeah. Okay, I've covered everything now. Router provider, it's giving me an error. I can see that simply because it expects the router as an attribute. So we just created it just a couple of lines above. I'm going to pass it here and it has a router. It's not causing any problems now. So if we go here, we don't see anything. Why do we not see anything? So, this is a different DX essentially that TanStack provides, wherein you need to import just one more component, which is the outlet. Outlet defines where you'll see everything. So let me get outlet here. So I'm importing it directly from TanStack Router, TanStack React Router. And once I do it, I don't need, can make do with just self-closing tag. Yeah, as you can see, it's not working. As you can see, it's not working. And let's figure out why is it not working. Oh, of course it's not working, simply because I've not, made the nav bar active. But let's just see if it's working explicitly. Okay. And let's go to contact. Great. It is working explicitly. I just need to make the nav bar now. Again, been saying this many times. You guys get to choose the manner in which you want to create this, split the code out. I'm simply the router provides me with this element that I can use here. I'm gonna route it to / get rid of this. Let this be 1 second. Let this be. It's a lot of red. I don't really like this lot of red. Great. And I can get rid of these and call these about contact. About. Great. Does it work now? Does it take me places? It does take me places. That is the intended behavior. And you know what? For now, this is the only demonstration that I'd like to give you guys. This was the reason I stopped at the same place when I was talking about React Router, because clearly there's more to routers. You need to find the query params, you need to find the search params. At this point, I would like to take your attention towards the library. Like I said, it's still in progress. It's still, he's still doing stuff. So as we talk about it, there are things that he has not yet worked. He has simply put to do on it. I'll just go towards those things. So route config is something that we have defined. Layout routes, essentially you can define it, but then everything else is just a to do by his own admission. And loaders, actions, these are things that he's still working on. So these are things that are not yet ready, but I want to give you a demonstration of what's ready right now. I would also like to, grab your attention towards the fact that I had the opportunity to show this demo to the creator of the library, Tanner Lindsay, and he agrees that these things are still a work in progress. And he sent me this message that if you can see this yourself. So I focus on the part that it has to be, I work towards the DX. This provides a better DX for now, if not better features, because like I said, it's still a work in progress. But so he acknowledges this part. This is a conversation that we had, and he's still working on it. As and when there's any update to the library, I'll bring it to you guys. So that's the demonstration, guys.
So Sarthak, should we expect more? Should we expect one more demo with advanced features?
A follow-up, yes.
Again, everything.
A follow-up, yes, for sure.
Good. You guys have any questions?
Guys, you have questions? I'll take them and I'll direct them to Tana. Oh, come on, Siri, I didn't call you. Siri, I didn't call you. Great, guys, questions? I'll take them and direct them to him. None?
Cool.
What about the DX? Did you guys what are your opinions on the DX? Because like I said, it's a very opinionated way of writing your routers. You can, like Rahul pointed out, that I can give it a gap property that will put the gaps in children. I can actually split the code out. That is one thing that it is better than that on React router, because React router, everything is on the, when you're scaffolding a React router, there's too many things on the page that you're scaffolding it at, right? In that manner, I personally find TanStack Router better. And as this is probably the 5th time I'm saying this, it is also coming from a place of bias wherein I just like the things that Tana makes. So what are your opinions, Charan? Tushar, what about your opinion?
I think this is just a starter one, okay, but it will have more advanced feature. Okay, I think caching and all will make difference. Currently, it is this is just starter, so it is looking like it is having more configuration or all like configuration looks bit difficult, but I think it will have advanced feature, so that I am looking out for advanced feature it is going to have.
Rahul?
Like for me, coming from the Next.js background, so it is pretty simpler and may not have
It
to
is, yeah.
configure.
Yeah.
So I can
Next.js is less
like
of like,
I can feel like a less of work in Next.js comparative to any of the things like React Router or Jamstack Router, any of the routers.
right.
So
But
I
then
am still
Next.js
of
is
that
also
speed
heavily
while it comes
opinionated.
to routers.
No, I'm just saying Next.js is also heavily opinionated. Like Next.js has taken React to a place wherein it's less of a library now, more of a framework. Next.js has no qualm saying that it is framework, but it is pushing React towards a place where it is more of a framework, less of a library. That's just the way Next does. Uh, anyone else, guys? I'll take questions.
It is just Next is making us lazy, so
Yeah.
it's just like
Sure.
taking me off from the routers world.
That's what I'm saying. So because everything is becoming so opinionated, I feel there is this opportunity here for anyone who wants to make it. Maybe make a templating thing out, like like we have create React app, create next app. Very recently we have create T3 the T3 stack app. It was also there's also this you know loader that they just made. So if someone wants to make it, it's an opportunity for anyone that they want to incorporate this, make an opinionated framework around it. Just saying, I find some opportunity there.
Mostly everything is built for some specific reason or some specific purpose. Okay, so I think we cannot use single framework for everything, but there is
Right,
framework for our every requirement. So
right.
be the one. Cool.
Great. Okay, then that was the demonstration.